Very good morning to you. Thank you so much. You are watching the Mid-Morning Park. Of course, this is Wednesday Leadership. This is where we interact with you and also look at quite a number of issues pertaining to leadership in our country and, of course, also in our 47 counties and even across this. And of course, we are glad that you've made time to be with us. Now, of course, you can expect a very, very interesting discussion today. And we have a very, very interesting subject or topic that we've prepared for you today. And that is on foreign jobs programs, government foreign jobs programs. That is what we want to look into in the next minutes that we'll be having this particular discussion. And of course, we are trusting that you are really going to enjoy. My name is Mangicho Mwala. Of course, on the other end is my colleague, Bwana Paul Kagi. Good to see you.
Yes, good morning, Mangicho. How are you? How is everything?
I'm very fine, and I'm also happy to see you on the other end.
All right.
Trusting that you are having a great week.
And be sure to know that today is the first day of November 2023.
Wow. By the way, Happy New Month.
Happy New Month. We're remaining with less than 60 days to be able to complete the year 2023.
Oh, yeah.
I know your visions, dreams, and aspirations of 2023 are coming to, is it to an end or they are coming to be?
Sure, and of course, looking back, there is every reason, Kagi, to thank God even for the fact that He has brought us, and even actually to see this new month.
Yes.
So many things have happened across this 1 year in this particular country, but we really want to appreciate God even for carrying us through, and we are also looking forward to end the year in strength.
Right. Welcome, our dear viewer, to this program, the first day of November 2023, and my name is Paul Kagi once again, as we are looking forward to engage you in the next few minutes.
Absolutely, and Kagi, of course, I know in a short while we'll be getting into the general analysis of some of the happenings, occurrences, events that we've seen across this particular 1 week. But of course, just to remind you, our viewer, our main area of discussion today will be what we've termed or what we have called government's foreign jobs programs. Now, this is something that has actually been in the headlines in the recent days, whereby we have heard of how the government is actually determined to ensure that many Kenyans get jobs abroad or overseas. And of course, this has actually been met with different reactions, illicit mixed reactions across across the society, across many Kenyans. And of course, there are those who are voicing their opinion, supporting this particular program. There are those who are thinking that the government should also do quite a lot to ensure that many of these opportunities can also be gotten or can also be obtained locally. So we want to find out, and we want to critically look at this particular issue and find out what are some of the things or what are some of the benefits of actually the government ensuring that many Kenyans get jobs overseas in comparison to the same Kenyans actually maybe getting jobs locally, or that basically means here in the country. That is something we want to get into. And of course, we have a guest that we are expecting in this particular show. That is Bwana Ben Macharia. He is a governance expert. He will be in a position to help us understand what are some of the issues or what are some of the factors that needs to be put into consideration, even as we look at this particular subject in broad ways. Of course, we want to leave you out of this particular discussion. We want to engage you as much as possible. That is why we have a platform where we encourage and invite your feedback. We invite your responses on this. We have a question that we've put out for you, and that is, what's your take on government strategy to have many Kenyans get jobs abroad? What's your take on government strategy? That is a strategy that the Kenya Kwanza government has, led by His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, who is our president. There is a strategy that they want to ensure it works, so that you will be seeing quite a number of Kenyans, maybe compared to the former regimes, this time round, getting overseas or getting abroad to actually actually work there. So what is your take on it? Are you of the view that this particular strategy is going to work? Are you of the view that maybe there are challenges that can actually maybe come across this particular strategy, and maybe therefore the government needs to do some changes? Kindly feel free to share with us your opinions. You can get us through our shortcut platform 23814 on WhatsApp, that is 0721105105, and of course you can also get us on our Facebook page, that is MBCI TV. As we continue with the discussion, we'll be able to appreciate some of your feedback even as we look at this particular matter. But of course, Kagi, you're welcome to also help us know what are some of these other issues that have actually been making headlines.
Correct, Mangicho, and dear viewer, we are going to have some time to be able to look what is happening in our country for the last few days in the analysis side. And one of the things that we are looking at today is the last day for the 844 system, whereby they are doing their last examination today. And they have been examined from Monday, Tuesday, yesterday, and today on Wednesday. And there has not been experienced serious crimes when these examinations are going on. Everything has been going on smoothly. And one fear that was there among the education experts and parents was how to implement the 2 times delivery of examinations or opening of the cabins where the examinations were being held. You know, for the previous years, the examination was picked in the morning and to hold the examination in the school up to evening. But this time around, they have come up with a new format whereby there is the morning session where the examination is being picked, and then we have another afternoon session where the examination is being picked. And so far, so good, Bangicho, I have not had any incident where the two sets of picking examination has experienced a major challenge. It is a big kudos to the Ministry of Education for implementing that formula, which its main aim is to curb any form of cheating in our examination. And therefore, we are happy that even those who are in the hospital, yesterday the ministry reported that there were around 21 students who did the examination in the hospital. That was a good program. And also, we had a fear that our pupils in the areas of Baringo County, maybe they could experience some handles when they are doing the examination because of the insecurity threats. But the Ministry of Interior, together with the Ministry of Education, really collaborated to ensure that no student, whether in an area which is security prone, is going to experience a challenge of doing examination. And true to their word, by yesterday, even those areas where the student feared they're not going to do examination, everything moved smoothly. And therefore, as we are coming close to the KCPE and the 844 system, we say kudos to the Ministry of Education for the job well done. Number 2, Mangicho, yes. There was the KPSEA examination, which is the Kenya Primary School Education Assessment, KPSEA, which is being done by grade 6. It is the first of the kind, and I think also we need to say salute, because it has moved on very well, and we are looking forward to see the next examination under the CBC, where and when it is going to take place.
Totally commendable there, Kagi, as you've put it. I think this is a very good gesture this time round. Having these particular examinations run smoothly is expected. I think it's something that is really going to encourage majority of parents and even the country at large, because we know that over the years we've had exams coming with a lot of challenges, and of course the main issue that has actually been affecting this particular exercise is the issue of integrity, and we know how this one has actually affected this particular sector, because once we have the issue of integrity and there is cheating and malpractices involved during this particular process, it makes the entire process and it taints the image of actually the entire examination sector. So I think this time around just like you've said, Kagi, I think it is kudos. We want to give a thumbs up to the Ministry of Education and also to the Kenya National Examination Council for ensuring that all efforts have been put into place, all mechanisms have been put into place, all the modalities have been put into place so that actually our pupils and even our students are going to reap what they've sowed in a very fair manner. And of course, like again you've said, the other thing that has actually also been affecting this particular process is matters to do with the security. Insecurity, of course, in some of the areas like North Rift. At least this time around, they have ensured that those students and those people who are actually taking these exams in those particular regions, their welfare has actually been put in consideration, because it is very, very sad if we can have some people actually being injured, others can actually fall victims to some of the bandits that take advantage of this particular process just to ensure that there is no peace or there is a lot of tension during this particular exercise. So I think even as they come to an end today, especially for KCPE, curtains of course are closing on this particular mode of examination that has been there for close to 40 years. Kagi, I know it is something that we really want, and most Kenyans will now be focusing on and also following. I know last week, Kagi, you dealt with this particular subject, yes. And I know majority of Kenyans, majority of parents will now want to find out how the transition will be, so that they can be in a position to know now that we'll not be having KCPE next year when we enter into, or now that we'll be having KPSEA. What are some of the changes? What are some of the differences that maybe we are going to witness in the new mode of examination?
All right, and as we move forward, dear viewer and Mangicho, the King and Queen are in Kenya.
Right.
Yes, King Charles and Queen Camilla are in Kenya for a 4-day visit. They came yesterday, and today is their second day to be here. And I was trying to follow up how they did their program yesterday. And one thing we could recall is that the King and the Queen were yesterday interested in going to Uhuru Park, whereby they visited what they are calling the Tunnel of Martyrs, the names of those killed during the colonial times. And as they went there, there has been a very, very deliberate pressure from the mini quarters, especially the Kenya Human Rights Commission, who were pushing for the King to be able to apologize from the atrocities that were committed by colonialists back 60 or 70 years back. But the King himself, yes, he admitted atrocities, and he showed a lot of regret, but was not very open to give apologies regarding to the atrocities. Although the president was trying to push for it, but he called on the maybe repatriation of those who were affected. But I believe by the time he is leaving Kenya, we expect to have more great goodies from the UK. But yesterday there was some deliberate an agreement on funding of our education system, and there was some money they promised to give to fund the education ministry, which is a good gesture. And there was another interest that he showed yesterday. I didn't know that they are funding a very big library in a place called, I think it is in Eastleigh, no, in Kibra, I don't know. There was a very big library which is being funded, yeah, outside Eastleigh there, a very big library funded by the UK government, where the King Charles and the Queen Camilla visited yesterday. And there has been a long and cordial relationship between Kenya and Britain, right from the first president of the Republic of Kenya, who received a lot of praises from the King, who said that they have met several times, especially in, I think, 1952, they had a meeting together. And I think this relationship has been cultivated by all leaders of UK. I don't know whether you could remember the Prime Minister for Britain, the late Margaret Thatcher. Yes. During Moy's era. Sure. She really was called the Iron Lady, who really worked hard to ensure that the relationship between Kenya and Britain are sound. And you know, the Britain is very, very keen on establishing those relationships for long among what they call the Commonwealth countries,
right,
which Kenya is among them, right? And therefore, Welcome was good. Today is his day 2. We want to follow up and see what his program is in today, and we believe by the end of this visit, it is going to bring some great benefit on our land.
Yes, Kagi, of course, it's a major story, it's a major occurrence, it's a major event happening in our country. Actually, this being the very, I think, is the very first visit of such a prominent leader, and of course, actually, even in Africa, I think it makes, and it actually means a lot for us as a country. Of course, coming against maybe the backdrop of what the atrocities that maybe were committed by the colonial government.
Yes.
But like you've said, I want to concur that I think there is some good signs that are being shown by the United Kingdom in terms of the relation that we are having together, or the relationship that that particular country is having with Kenya. And I think the coming of King Charles and Queen Camilla, it means a lot. I think it is a show of goodwill. It's a show that that particular government is ready to work with the Kenyan government, and you could be able to tell, say for maybe a few of those Kenya, maybe those who are fighting for the rights, maybe advocating or maybe demanding that there's some sort of apology. But I think, Kage, one of the most important things that we really need to look is, even though those atrocities were actually meted on Kenyans,
yes,
but then how is the relationship today? Maybe what is the kind of what kind of a relationship, what kind of image does this particular UK government maybe want to show as far as its relationship with Kenya is concerned? So I think even just by choosing to actually come to Kenya is one step to show that they want to actually cement this particular relationship.
Yes.
They want to ensure that there is more and more of these particular benefits that the two countries are going to actually get, and especially Kenya are going to get, even as they continue maybe with this particular relationship. So I think the coming of King Charles really portends well for this particular country, and you could see yesterday they had some very good times touring quite a number of places in the city, and also actually even climaxing with a banquet that was being held in State House. And apparently, I also saw that the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga was there,
yes,
which Kagi also some Kenyans. It got some Kenyans, and they actually gave out some of their reactions to actually maybe show that it is like now the former Prime Minister and the President are actually in good terms, seeing that both of them would actually be in a particular place, or in one particular place, to actually share those good moments with the royal family.
Yes, and in 1952, Mangicho, yes, his mom was in the country.
Yes.
And that time she was not the queen. She was called the Princess Elizabeth. They were here with, I think, her fiancé. And when they were in Nyeri, a certain hotel there, that is when she received a report that she is now heading to become the Queen of England. And she left Nyeri heading to England, and she had come here just to relax as a tourist, and she went back home to become the Queen in 1952.
Wow.
And she came back again in 1963, now this time around as a queen. So there is a huge history,
yeah, there is a history
between Kenya and Britain, and the attachment is so huge. Yes. Right?
Yes. I think that is something that is very significant, and that is something that really needs to be looked into with a lot of attention. We therefore need to find out, and maybe because we also know there is the need to focus so much on the positive. I know there is maybe the negative that some people would actually say as a result of the colonial government. This is where we are as a country. country. These are some of the things that we've suffered from. But I think there is enough and there is sufficient need to also pay attention to a lot of the positive that maybe we've found. And even maybe coming from this particular visit, we really need to see what is it that maybe we can learn, what is it that maybe we need even to do. And of course, I know by the deliberations they have with the president, maybe I know that there are things that maybe we are still going to see, because such a visit from such a prominent people, it means a lot, and I know they have the influence in case there is anything. So I think if the government can actually take this particular visit as an opportunity,
yes,
to even advocate, to even maybe work out modalities of how the Kenya government can actually benefit, even in terms of economic, the economic perspectives. How is it that as a Kenyan government we can actually continue to benefit more from the UK? I think these are some of the things that we really need to pay attention to.
Correct. And there's one matter that is very interesting today. Yesterday, the InfoTrack made its one of the reports, depending on the performance of some governors. And interesting, most of the governors who are reported to be performing well are from who are the newcomers, the governors. And number one, who was ranked as the best by the InfoTrack, was the Trans Nzoia governor, George Natembeya, who is at 70%. We have Homa Bay governor Gladys Wanga, West Pokot Simon Kachapin, number 3, number 4. They tied there like 4 governors. We have Kisii governor Simba Arati at 64, and then Murang'a Irungu Kang'ata, Turkana Jeremiah Rumurukai, Makueni Mutula Kilonzo Jr., they are performing very well. I'm looking for the poor performance. I'm not getting it. I'm looking for the best performance. And by the look of things, number 23, it is being tied by Uasin Gishu, Nairobi, Vihiga, and Kakamega. By the way, it's good to have this kind of reports to be able to know how our governors and counties are performing. But I could maybe be interested to know what kind of maybe situations they are looking at to be able to rank these governors. Is it service delivery? Is it project? Is it maybe integrity? What area maybe they are looking at to be able to rank a governor to be number 1 or the last governor? And of course, I believe number 1 could be the development.
Right? I think
performance itself.
Yeah, that is very true, Kagi, and it's a good report from InfoTrack, because we know counties are the ones that are now, maybe we can actually say, closest to Mwananchi, especially after devolution, because initially or essentially or actually previously we'd look at this particular matter from the national perspective. But now I think it is something that is very, very important when we have some of these particular reports from this particular research that maybe has been done, to just be in a position to ensure, or maybe to tell Kenyans how these particular devolved units are actually performing, and the people that we've actually put there, the managers in this particular case now being the governors, how they are performing. What we need now is basically to know the parameters that were put into place, so that we can be able to see and be in a position to know that maybe for the last 1 year, like now, of course, maybe it is in the last 1 year after 2022 general election, what are some of the things that we can be able to see? What are some of the changes that you can be able to see? But I think it is important, because someone like Gladys Wanga, I think there are things that we've really been in a position to actually hear.
Yes.
There are quite a number of programs that we've actually been in a position to hear actually happening in Homa Bay County. And I think this is also very, very encouraging. It will also be a platform, Kage, I believe, will also encourage healthy competition, because every CEO of the county government will want to find his name or their name actually to be on the top. No one wants to find their name below, being told that maybe you're in number 47 out of number 47. So I think it is very encouraging. It is also an opportunity for us now to be able to find out if they are saying George Natembeya is being rated at 70%. So most people will want to find out and maybe even get a trip to go to Trans Nzoia, find out what is it that is actually making George Natembeya to rate very, very excellently. And of course, maybe even Homa Bay County and so on and so forth. And there is one other governor that I've actually seen there, Kagi, who has actually been the limelight in the recent past. That is Governor Kawira Mwangaza. She's also actually been rated very well.
Yes.
Despite some of the challenges and some of the happenings that we've actually been seeing in the county government of Meru. And
I can see she's tying up with Elgeyo Marakwet,
yes,
and Kitui at number 8, which is 63%.
63%. So I don't know how possible is it that maybe she's actually being rated quite well, but then the kind of backlash that she's getting, especially from the leaders, like the members of county assembly. So is it a case of witch hunt, or is there more than meets the eye? I think that is something that we really need to look into. But according to that particular report, I think I support it. Maybe the only thing that now we need to know is actually what are some of the things, especially the tangible results that we can be in a position to see in some of these counties that can actually support the ratings that InfoTrack have given us.
Yes, there was one thing I was admiring from Homa Bay with Governor Gladys Wanga, that she managed to build an industry whereby they are producing flour, unga. And I think I was trying to think, how good would it be if all our counties are coming up with maybe an industry which is going to help those people in that area, maybe to improve on the food security, or maybe to open up job opportunities. And I was trying to analyze this industry, and I could feel, I think Wanga is very deliberate to ensure that the county's food security is secured.
Right.
Instead of waiting for Nairobi to fly food from Nairobi to Homa Bay in case of any drought, they have their own way of doing it.
Sure.
And Mangicho, could you imagine if maybe counties like Kisumu, they have their own industry, maybe the other side, Nyamira, coming over to Kisii, to Kericho, coming to Nairobi, if every county is producing its own raw material,
exactly,
or maybe food or service, I think this country would be very far.
Absolutely.
Because we have the sharing of goods and services. If this country can produce flour, this can produce this can produce this, at the end of the day, the interdevelopment and inter-services between the counties is going to sprout our development in the country.
Absolutely, and it's also very encouraging, Kagi, that this is basically also showing that some of these projects, some of these initiatives that actually needs to be entrenched or needs actually to be put into place in our devolved units or in our county governments is not necessarily any rocket science, and we don't really need to imagine that there is a lot of maybe complex strategies, maybe complex resources that maybe we need to come up with, because if the governor has been in a position to do that just in the last 1 year of being in an elective office, so you can imagine if minds were put together and if resources were actually brought together, if every idea was actually brought together, and of course people reduce the politics that might actually arise during these particular processes or during these particular activities, then it basically means that we can actually get very far. So that is something that is actually amazing of being produced in Homa Bay. So we go to another county like Western Gishu, we have another industry there. We go to another county like Nyeri, another industry is actually also established or started. And this will go far away in actually also ensuring that we have job opportunities and also food security. So it is something that is very, very encouraging to actually notice, Kagi.
Yes. And maybe finally, before I think we go for a break, there's one more story that Kawira Mwangaza, who is at 63% of performance, is waiting for another big day with the Senate, whereby yesterday there was a deliberation in Senate to decide whether they are going to observe his allegations through an 11-member committee or full plenary. And the Kenya Kwanza administration rejected the proposal of special committee to be able to verify the allegations leveled against Mwangaza. And therefore, she is waiting to go before the plenary of the Senate to be able to confirm if the impeachment against him by the assembly members were valid.
Wow.
And this is happening after 10 months. 10 months is very serious.
Yeah, that's very serious, Kagi. And let's hope that, like we've pointed out earlier, it should not actually, let's hope it is not something that is being politicized. Let's hope that even as we get into the other round, because now it paints a very bad picture for this particular county, especially maybe when the Mwananchi at that particular county wants nothing short of development. So let's believe that all the leaders that are actually involved in this particular matter are actually going to articulate this particular agenda with a lot of fairness and with a lot of good faith, and not necessarily maybe for the purposes of witch hunt. I'm being told that we can take a short break at this particular juncture. You're still watching Leadership Wednesday right here on your favorite program, Mid Morning Park. Thank you so much for making time to be with us. We are coming back with much more.
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
Don't be afraid to move.
Sounds of praise and jubilation fill the air as anointed ministers of God come together from across the continent through Healing Center Ministries International for a breakthrough experience like no other. Featuring Prophet Samuel Addison from Ghana, renowned gospel minister Moses Bliss, and Apostle Paul Odola from Nigeria, award-winning gospel singer Michael Mahendere, and Apostle Crispin Mahoro from Zimbabwe, and our very own Evelyn Wanjiru and Pastor Tumaini from Kenya. From 1st November 2023 all through till 4th November at Kasarani Indoor Arena. For more information, call 0722 135 431 or 0753 604 531. Let's converge and receive from the Lord. Do not miss out.
Mtu mwenye anatumia mboga ni vegetarian, si ndio? Na mtu mwenye anatumia nyama?
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
Ati ni?
Nyamatarian.
Nikuulize, si ushawahi piga mtu teke?
Nishaipiga mtu teke.
Teke kwa kizungu ni nini?
Hivyo. Ni hivyo.
So nataka unispelie neno Soviet, twende?
Shut up, everybody.
S-A-B-E-A-T. Nataka unitungie sentensi kutumia neno kimemeshi.
Nimetembea kama nina kimemeshi.
Kanti gani kwa mfalme?
Sosirad.
Nani?
What? Mswachi yani.
Asubuhi naenda tafuta riziki. Mwaka naenda tafuta riziki. Ewo! Hey!
Liza School Naivasha is a world-class educational institution that provides students with knowledge and skills they need to succeed in the 21st century. Liza, a mixed day and boarding institution, has been a beacon of academic excellence for over 2 decades. Our CBC-compliant campus offers education from kindergarten level to grade 8 and fosters academic excellence through our dedicated faculty. We nurture holistic individuals through our wide range of clubs and sports activities where learners develop social skills. Our modern fleet of buses, chauffeured by well-trained drivers, ensure timely transportation of our learners to and from school for both day and boarding school. Partner with us for a guaranteed wholesome school experience for your child. Visit our website today to learn more about Lisa School Naivasha. Interview date Saturday, 11th November 2023 at 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
You're welcome back to the Mid-Morning Parkour Leadership Wednesday right here on MBCI TV. Thank you so much for still making time to be with us, and of course discussing matters to do with leadership. That is what we normally focus on Wednesdays, and we are glad that on the 1st of November we are tackling a very, very important topic. And of course, if you're joining us for the very first time, we had already given out our topic of discussion today, and that is the topic that we are looking at today. If I can just remind you, we are looking at government foreign jobs program. Government's foreign jobs program. That is our topic of discussion. We were expecting a visitor, but he's still not with us, but we'll still carry out or carry on with this particular discussion with my colleague Paul Kagi. And of course, there is a question that we've also put out for you, so that we can also get your perspectives, we can get your opinions, we can also get your feedback on the same, and that is, what's your take on the government strategy to have many Kenyans get jobs overseas or abroad? What is your take on government strategy to have as many Kenyans as possible to actually have many jobs, or to actually get jobs abroad? You can continue giving us your reflections, you can continue giving us your feedback, you can continue giving us your perspectives on our platforms for feedback, for shortcut platform, that is 23814, 23814. And then of course you can also catch us also on our WhatsApp number, that is 0721105105. And for those interested in the social media pages, we are live on our Facebook page, that is MBCI TV, and also on our YouTube, that is MBCI TV Official. We'll continue to appreciate your input even as far as our discussion is concerned today. Of course, Kagi, we will still carry on with this particular subject.
Yes.
Because this is something that is very important, and of course, it is emanating also maybe from the reports that we've actually been hearing relating to President William Ruto's foreign trips. And there are many Kenyans who are thinking that he's actually broken the record of traveling abroad for so many times, maybe compared to his predecessors, like former President Uhuru Kenyatta, the late Mwai Kibaki, former President, the late Daniel Moi, and so on and so forth. But on Sunday, when Ruto was in Eldoret during church service, he actually also responded to this particular matter, and he actually said that he is justified for going abroad, particularly because he is going there for the interest of the country, for the interest of many Kenyans who would want to see how is it that maybe his position as a president can actually maybe even help the country. So it is a matter that has actually been eliciting mixed reactions in the recent past, and of course majority of Kenyans wanting maybe to find out. But of course there are quite a number of things, Kagi, that are very, very important for us even to be in a position to know. And one of the things is that the government wants to create 1 million jobs every year for Kenyans, that is in abroad, and the government needs actually also to improve, or intends to improve, what we call diaspora remittances, and an estimated 4 million Kenyans work and live abroad. 4 million? Yeah, 4 million, they work and live abroad. So I think is a weighty subject. Yes.
And I think these people need to be taken very well by the government. Last time I think I was asking another expertise, which is the highest foreign exchange in Kenya, and he told me it is the foreign remittance. Yeah, it has overtaken the tourism, which was a leading foreign exchange in the country. But there was something that happened yesterday, which personally I felt it was not good, because these people are the ones who are building our GDP. and they are supporting many families when they are abroad. But yesterday there was a policy that was communicated by the KRA that if you come to the country with a certain level of luggages, they are going to be taxed. If they're not going to be taxed, if you don't have the money, it's going to be held. I think we should not push these guys so much because whatever they are bringing to us, away from money, they are bringing materials, tools, equipment, which they can get from wherever they are, and they are going to support our poor families. And therefore, if you have 4 million people who are supporting Kenyans, if you talk about 4 million Kenyans who are abroad, you can times by at least 3. The people they are depending on.
Exactly.
Directly.
The direct beneficiaries.
Minimum average 3.
Yeah, so you're talking about maybe a husband or a man who is working there.
Yes.
He has a wife back at home. And maybe
he has children.
Parents.
He has parents.
Yes.
They can even be 5.
Yes.
So 4 times 5, that is 20 million people.
20 million people.
Who are directly benefiting from these people. Maybe from your estate or from the village, you can see the kind of development these guys are doing in our society.
Sure.
Improving the housing that we are struggling with, educating our sons and daughters, siblings.
Yeah, and I think it is something that we've actually been seeing, Kagi, as you put it, and even for many of us, maybe we have friends, maybe we have people we've known, maybe even relatives, they are very much interested, even when they are working abroad, when they are working overseas. If there is something they always want to remember is, how is it that I can actually give back to my community? How is it that I can give back to my society? And that's why you'll see most of them actually putting some structures back in the country. Only that sometimes we've had, I think, some very negative and some very unfortunate scenarios whereby they've given money back only maybe for those who have actually been entrusted to squander those resources.
Yeah, there was one case that was communicated to me about a couple who had come here, they bought land, they wanted to support the family at large, and they entrusted one of the brothers to be able to build a house for them. And when they went back to the overseas, of course they could demand to be able to be shown what is being constructed. And this guy was, I think, sharp enough. He could go to other infrastructures and take videos and photos and take to the couple in the overseas. And they could believe that this house is constructed. And even when it was complete, they were shown the pictures. This is now the house is ready for habitation.
For habitation.
Then when they came for a surprise visit to the homeland, the shock of the year came.
Wow.
The land is there. The house was never constructed. And they were planning to relocate here in Kenya. And therefore, sometimes we are doing injustice to them.
Exactly,
The kind of effort these guys are doing, Mangichu, to support us, they deserve good support.
Exactly.
They deserve well treatment from the government and also from the members of the public.
You're right.
And personally, I want to thank the financial institutions. They have come up with a good mechanism to ensure these guys have a way to be able to save their coins there. They have a very easy way of sending money here at home. And before it was very difficult for you to send money back home. But today, the financial institutions have come up with a very good formula to be able to save and send back money here. And therefore, even from the government, as the president is saying, he is crisscrossing the world to be able to look for job opportunities for our sons and daughters. If that is the case, may it be.
Yes.
Because we are having a challenge of job opportunities in Kenya.
Of course, I totally agree with you, Kagi, and even as we've already indicated, that majority of these particular Kenyans, they are very loyal to their country.
Yes.
They are very patriotic, such that because maybe in a natural situation, especially maybe for some of those Kenyans, maybe you have gotten those chances there, and maybe the kind of life, the kind of hardship that maybe they went through when they were in their home country, when they get this opportunity, they might want to forget everything about our country, but they go there and in their own small ways, from maybe the blessings that they have, they still want to give back to the society. So I think it is very fair so that those who are now behind to actually just do what is necessary in terms of ensuring that the environment is very safe. Remember, we've said that those who benefit directly. Remember also those who the others that, for example, if it is a structure that someone is investing with the resources that they've gotten when they are working overseas, you can imagine the number of those who are actually going to be employed in such a construction.
Yeah, and I think the president, what you need to do for him to be able to attract confidence from Kenyans as he goes abroad is to parade whatever he is doing. For example, if he goes to UK and maybe can be able to access maybe 300 jobs for Kenyans, or even 100 or 200, then it should be known to Kenyans that we have been able to secure 300 jobs for our nurses. And then these nurses can now be paraded when they are leaving the country. That these are the guys that we managed to get a job for them. They are leaving the country in the next 2 weeks. Let us see them flying and going there.
Exactly.
Let's follow them from here and see where they have settled down and they are working as nurses. I think if you could do that, it will build more confidence as he goes abroad.
Yeah, and that is apparently one of the things that most of the critics have actually been saying. People are arguing, or people are actually saying, yes, we don't have a problem with you traveling. We don't have a problem because you are actually entitled to.
Yes.
But then, can we also be in a position to see the results? Can we actually see the tangible results? Just like you're saying, if you've gone there, maybe there is a country that has promised you that we are going to have this number of Kenyans. We've secured some opportunities for them, maybe 10,000. Can we actually be in a position to see that, yes, Kagi, there is this number of Kenyans, 10,000 of them, as a result of the president's agreement, as a result of the president's relationship with this particular country? Could it be Canada? It could be France. It could be Germany. We've seen them flying, and actually we've seen them even starting. So I don't know. Maybe there are those who will actually say that there is a process, and of course we agree that when it goes maybe to a country like Germany, we don't necessarily expect that tomorrow we'll be able now maybe to see. But it should not. You know, there is also the tendency for people to forget. And once people forget, only people maybe to remember later on that, there was this particular process. So I think it is something that is very, very important. Like, for example, there is this opportunity that he has actually talked about, that the president has actually been quoted as saying he has secured 350,000 jobs. For Kenyans in Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia?
Yes. That is a very, very big number.
Yes.
Remember, he made a trip, actually, he made a visit to Saudi Arabia. So 350,000, that is not a small number.
It's a big number.
So that is something that needs actually to be followed.
Yes. And again, we need to be able to see that the government itself to get involved in some of these jobs. I know you have had some scenarios, situations that is happening in the Middle East when you take our people there. But when the government takes charge of sending people outside, for example, those who are going for informal jobs in those areas, if the government can be directly getting involved, those cases of molestation, victimization, maybe torture, you won't hear them again, because these are government-to-government agreement, and they can be able to trace every person who is outside. I don't know whether you admire some countries like US, German, Britain, when there is a security threat anywhere. For example, what is happening in Israel and Gaza, you could hear some countries like US and UK declaring that we are going to evacuate our people from those areas. The reason is those countries knows where every citizen is in the globe.
You're right.
Whether in Kenya, in Africa, whether in Asia, whether in Europe, they know where their people are. And in case of any challenge, they go and pick their people.
Sure.
That's where we should be.
Exactly.
Okay? But I was trying to look on the other side of this situation of the foreign jobs, and I could see also a danger, maybe emanating from the challenges of the lack of employment.
Yeah.
Whereby we are losing a chunk of expertise from our country who are going abroad. If you go to many countries and you call yourself a Kenyan, you're a hotcake. Because we are known to be very aggressive, yes, very hardworking, visionary. Yeah. So abroad there we have a good name. But again, down here at home, Mangicho, we are losing expertise. And if we are not careful, we are going to have a good country whereby we don't have anybody from here, yeah, who can be able to be relied upon. For example, the medical field, whereby a good surgeon, once he or she completes his studies, the first thing he thinks of is to fly. Okay. And we have used a lot of money. You know, they go to medical school. Right. We use a lot of money to educate these people, but they are going outside. I think the best thing, personally, I could see, Mangicho, is we look for a way to be able to retain the expertise around, because there are not many. And for those people whereby we are lacking some informal jobs, we can look for a way to be able to take them outside. But for the expertise, they remain here.
I totally agree with you, Kagi, because I think that is also a subject that majority of Kenyans and also some of these analysts have actually been raising. It's a major concern, especially this particular issue of what we call the brain drain. Yes. And just as you're saying, I think we need to strike some balance here, and this will actually demand the government also to up its game. Yes. In terms of how maybe it remunerates some of these personnel, some of these expertise that we have, because you'll find that, especially for those Kenyans who are actually professionals in some of these particular fields, if we were to compare the remuneration in those overseas countries vis-a-vis here in Kenya, you'll see that there is a very, very big difference. And that is why most of them, when this opportunity strikes, they might actually not have a second thought.
They just go.
They'll just have to go, because it's the difference is actually very, very big. It's very conspicuous. So it's very important. But again, as you've said, if we allow and if actually we actually encourage this room, which is not bad, but then we might actually suffer, because at the end of the day, we also have people to take care of. We also have people to actually give services to. Now, if we have all our doctors being in abroad, we'll get
what's going to happen at home.
We'll actually look into our people.
And I have one observation. I think you can look at the country like US. Yes. A country which has many openings through the green card program. And sometimes I ask myself how they decided to come up with that program. Number one is to be able to help other countries to eradicate poverty and to open job opportunities. But also, that opening has made US to grow. And this growth is from all fields. For example, if they identify you are good in IT, they can easily pick you up to go and support the IT industry in that country. And that's why you see it will take many years for us to be able to catch up with US. Because they can easily, because of this program, they can easily pick the best from every country on this globe. From Africa, they can pick people who are the best in this area. From Asia, they can pick people from this area, from other areas of the continent, and they bring them in their land. But we are doing the other way around. We are taking our expertise to outside, but then they are picking expertise to their country. Yes. So they are building their capacity in all areas. In all areas, yeah. And therefore, to catch up with them, it is a huge task.
Yeah, that is very, very key, and I totally agree with you, because I've also seen there also been the word. Like, for example, we know it has been a tradition that most of Kenyans that we actually take in countries, especially in the Middle East, especially in Saudi Arabia, for the longest period, we've known that most of the ones that we've been taking there are actually domestic workers. And of course, maybe the other caliber of Kenyans that maybe have actually been going abroad, and especially in the Middle East countries, are maybe those who are truck drivers and guards, cleaners, and so on and so forth. But I think now most Kenyans are actually saying there is now the need to actually now get into a scenario whereby we can also be in a position to see and also maybe negotiate for those who are actually even professionals, maybe in these other sectors, banking, information technology. Kenyans are very good in some of these areas. Teaching, very, very key area. Most Kenyans, when they go out there, doing that. So other than just maybe taking Kenyans maybe who are actually considered to be non-professionals, just being given jobs like maybe the domestic workers, now there is the need to actually ensure and to market Kenya as a country that is well endowed with human resource cutting across all these particular fields. And I think maybe that is one, because if the president can actually mention a figure like 350,000, I don't want to believe those can only be domestic workers.
Yeah, of course. And I think if you could get a good number for many countries, 300 for this country, 300 for this country, I think we can get even like 5 million Kenyans who are working abroad through a government-to-government program. Okay? And also I think an exchange programs between governments can really help, whereby the expertise from other countries can come over to help even our disciplines in the country. For example, in medical, in construction. Think about China. China is doing a good job, whereby though we are not exporting many people to go to China to work there, but they have come here to add their input in the employment area. For example, if you go to many shops, we have equipment and tools of any kind today. And these tools have opened up job opportunities in Kenya, whereby you can go and buy a tool and start using it for your employment. I saw a guy who had bought the grass cutting machine from China. It was just a small guy. And he bought that machine, and after working from the night shift, he could go and cut grass in the estate using that machine. It's not expensive, but that guy is making thousands per day. So such kind of exchange programs, unknowingly, they are opening doors to our young people. Even the way we operate these excavators, they have been brought by Chinese, you see?
And that reminds me, Kagi, of this particular point. There are quite a number of Kenyans who had actually raised this particular issue of some of these professionals actually coming from these countries like China. And Kenyans were actually concerned, and they were actually complaining that they also need to be given an opportunity. They don't necessarily need to bring their material, bring the equipment. Of course, they can actually come with those material, those equipment, but also get an opportunity to show Kenyans, but not necessarily just them coming and leaving the very, 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 what we can actually call the basic to Kenyans. And maybe Kenyans were actually being concerned, and they were afraid that these people really might not really be very interested in us also maybe getting to have the techniques.
To me, I think it was an issue of insecurity.
Yes.
You know, Kenyans are known globally to be very aggressive. It's an aggressive society. If you show a Kenyan something, in a short while, he's going to overpower you.
And remember, I think it was the other day we saw that the president was actually there was an event whereby they were actually starting up an industry where now mobile phones will now be made, they'll actually be manufactured in Kenya. I think it was the day before yesterday. So I think it is an opportunity for also maybe Kenyans now to embrace that, and maybe also know how is it that maybe these phones, because you imagine the kind of benefit that Kenyans can actually get out of
a lot.
This. Yes, it's quite a lot.
Even those who are going outside, they can bring their brain back here at home. Maybe have come up with something that you feel they can help the society in opening up the job opportunities. You can bring them here. Even if you don't come in person, you can maybe buy the knowledge or the tools and come with them here and teach young people on how to use them. And that when you open a door for them for employment. For example, that phone industry, of course, it is through maybe a certain partnership that we're able to know how to do that. And through that, many job opportunities are going to be found through that industry.
You are very right.
But the program is good. If the president is going to secure more jobs abroad, I think that was his main agenda when he was looking for the presidency.
Exactly.
To be able to provide job opportunities for millions and millions of young people.
Yes, Kagi, my director is telling me that we can have our Vox Pop. Of course, okay, she's telling me that we can still have a few more minutes. The Vox Pops. We actually have our reporter Vincent Kimtai. We always ask him to get into the street and also interact with Kenyans on the subject that you are talking about. And of course, he went into the street in a short while. He will be coming to us and also helping us to also know what are Kenyans actually thinking about this particular subject on government's program or government's foreign programs. And that is basically what we want to have now. We can have that particular segment. Our reporter Vincent Kimtai, kindly let us know and help us know what are Kenyans thinking about the government's foreign jobs or programs. Are they supporting? Are they not supporting? And also maybe what are some of the reasons that they are taking the position that they are taking? Interact with us, Vincent Kimtai.
Shukran sana Mangicho Mola pamoja na Paul Kagi. Hii leo hapa nitakuwa nikizungumza na Wakenya kuhusiana na mpango mzima wa serikali wa kuwatafutia Wakenya ajira kwenye mataifa nje ya nchi, ikiwa kama Wakenya wanaunga mkono mpango huo, hao wanaona ni vipi serikali pia inapaswa kuweka mikakati au mipango ya kuhakikisha Wakenya wanapata ajira wakiwa humu nchini pamoja na mataifa ya nje.
Kwa jina ni Beth, mkazi wa Njoro. Wazo kuhusu vijana kutolewa Kenya kupelekwa nje singekubaliana nalo. Kwanza kwa sababu vijana ni watu ambao tu ndio wamevuka kutoka kwa utoto kuingia kwa watu wazima. Sasa kijana akitolewa hapa akipelekwa kule, na vijana ndio watu wenye wako na nguvu. Inafaa vijana hizo nguvu watumie hapa Kenya kuendeleza Kenya ili tuweze kuendelea. Otherwise wakipelekwa nje, okay, ni vizuri nje wataenda watalipwa pesa mzuri labda, lakini nyumbani itakuwa heri kwa sababu pia wakiwa karibu na wazazi wao watapata mawaidha kuhusu maisha. Otherwise wengi wanaoenda kule nje wanafika kule na wanaingia katika maisha ambayo mengine hayafai.
Kwa jina naitwa Tony. Mimi ni mwana bodaboda, nafanya kazi ya kusafirisha watu hapa. Ile swala na ndio kidogo naweza unga mkono, lakini pia anaweza tofautiana nalo kidogo. Niulize, mbona kama Wakenya tutake kwenda kufanya kazi za kuajiriwa katika nchi zingine na ile hali tuko katika nchi yetu? Kidogo naona nikana kwamba serikali inapoteza mwelekeo, maana hata hizo nchi ambazo tunatumwa kufanya kazi huko kunao wananchi wa kule, na inamaanisha kwamba kuna kile ambacho wanakifanya, ndio sababu kuna hizo opportunities za kazi kule. Kile ambacho serikali yetu inafaa kufanya ni kwamba waweze kuborrow the ideas ambazo ziko katika those countries za abroad ambazo zinatuma sisi wa Kenya tutamani kwenda nje kufanya kazi. Waziboro wazilete hapa. Kama wao wataweza kufungua makampuni za kuajiri wa Kenya, hiyo nitaunga mkono. The opportunities ambazo zinakosa Kenya nafaa wazitafute, wazilete. Ndio tusikue na tamaa na haja ya kwenda kule nje. Kwa sababu tunapoenda kule nje tunachangia uchumi wa kule, hatuchangii uchumi wa kwetu hapa. So mimi nilisikia ni kama ni jambo ambalo halina umuhimu sana wakati rais mwenyewe anaposema kwamba anaenda kule nje kutafutia Wakenya nje. So wawe kazi kule nchi za nje. So Wakenya kama wataajiriwa mamilioni kule nje, nchi yetu nayo itakuwa inaendelea kivipi? Kwa hivyo kidogo siungi mkono.
Naunga mkono, lakini sasa serikali iweze kuweka mikakati ya kuwa vijana wetu hata wakienda huko tukue assured kama wazazi na ndugu na dada ya kuwa watoto wetu wako salama.
Siungi mkono serikali ipeane watoto watoke nchi za ng'ambo. Wale ambao wanatoka nchi za ng'ambo, ni afadhali serikali watafutie kazi ndogo ndogo ya kufanya juu wanaenda na ujuzi yenye wanaenda kuinua uchumi wa nchi nyingine, na sisi Kenya tunapaki tukiwa katika hali ya umaskini. na tunasikia tu wakiwa huko wananyanyaswa sana. Tunasikia, tunashuhudia vifo yenye inaendelea katika nchi za ng'ambo. Sasa siungi mkono serikali wapeane watoto wetu watoke wakae humu tukiwatazama.
Siwezi changia kusupport serikali kutafutia vijana ajira nchi za nje, kwa sababu wao ndio wanafaa watengeneze mazingira ya huku kwetu ndio tuweze kufanya kazi. Kama sasa ukiangalia hii mambo ya taxation na nini si unaona inatufinya hata sisi kama vijana hapa. Sasa kutafutiwa kazi nchi ya nje sio suluhisho. Suluhisho ni watengeneze mazingira hapa tuweze kufanya kazi vizuri.
Mangicho pamoja na Kagi, ni maoni ya Wakenya hayo kuhusiana na mpango wa serikali kutaka kuwatafutia Wakenya ajira nje ya nchi hii ya Kenya. Nikiripotia kipindi cha Mid Morning Park, jina langu ni Vincent Kimutai.
There you go, Vincent Kimutai interacting with Kenyans and getting their opinions, their feedback on this very critical subject on government foreign jobs or programs, government's foreign job programs. And of course, Kagi, Kenyans have spoken there. It's quite a mix of reactions. There are those who are supporting. There are those who think no. I think the government should actually get, or have Kenyans actually get more jobs locally. But I think one of the reasons that I've picked, Kagi, maybe before you can also maybe pick a point, actually my director is telling me you have like 4 minutes, the issue of security. Yeah. But I think recently, I think something that has actually been looked into, and I think one of the countries that I can actually say that we've noticed or we've actually seen or we've witnessed security issues actually being a major threat for Kenyans working abroad, I think it is Saudi Arabia, especially for those who have gone there as domestic workers. That's why we've been actually hearing very saddening tales and stories of how they have actually been oppressed, and that is something that I think even the government and also the Saudi Arabia government have actually looked into in a very serious manner.
Yeah, and there was one Kenyan, I'll call her a parent, who feels insecure to send their children back or outside the country. In fact, she has said they want to see their children around. She's feeling insecure.
Sure, the social aspect, and I think it's a major issue, and the social aspect whereby, and I think this is an area that maybe maybe many people have not actually given the consideration, the attention it requires. But I think it is something that needs to be looked into in a very proper way, because when maybe people leave Kagi, 5 years, maybe you've not seen your people. Yes. Some others go even to 10 years. We've had very saddening scenarios whereby maybe some of the people who have gone there
and never come back home.
And maybe, unfortunately, they've even lost their loved ones when they're still in those countries.
There's that insecurity. Others are feeling because of the story they hear about abroad, the issue of drugs, issues of I don't know what. So some of the parents are feeling a little bit reserved to release their children to go to those countries. But there are two people who have said some valid points we had discussed before. One was, the government should look for a way to borrow ideas from abroad and bring them here. That's a very valid point. Yes. That even though we want to take our people there, yes, we can take them, but also think about borrowing those ideas that you see from there, bring them here at home and implement them. Number one, they are going to create job opportunities, and then it is opening the minds of our people because of that. And then there's another guy who was saying that the government should open companies here.
Exactly.
You know, there's some people who are widely traveled. Some of these leaders are widely traveled. And I always ask myself question, Mangicho. How comes these guys, some of them have been traveling, crisscrossing this world for 20, 30 years? You have never seen one of them coming up with an idea what he or she admired in a certain country.
And they spent all that time there.
Yes. To bring them here at home.
Yeah, thank you so much. Our director is telling that we have to bring it to a close because of the other live program that will be coming very, very shortly. But it's a very good subject, Kagi, and maybe we can actually escalate it. And we want to register the apology of the guest that we had actually expected, Bwana Ben Macharia. He's written as a text here saying that he's been held up in Naivasha in another program. He really would have wanted to be with us in today's discussion. But many thanks for having us today. Many thanks also for contributing, for participating. Of course, is a subject that we'll continue to pursue, even using maybe some other mechanism. Thank you so much on behalf of the entire team that has made it a success. We want to wish you a blessed afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. My name is Mangicho Mwala.
Thank you for finding time to be able to watch MBCI TV Morning Park Leadership Wednesday. Paul Kagi is my name. Have a blessed day ahead.